Hello, I'm Dr. Sapkal here. The title for discussion today is Post Exposure Prophylaxis or PEP. It involves taking anti HIV drugs very soon after possible exposure to HIV to prevent HIV infections. Apart from HIV as a pathogen, other blood-borne pathogens are hepatitis B virus, hepatitis C virus, and its infections are at risk. First, what are the principles of this PEP? First aid should be given after the injury, and standard pre-test counseling and psychological support is very essential. Confidentiality of the test results must be ensured. Informed consent of both source and exposed person is obtained. Medical legal record for rape victims is must. Risk assessment and investigations are done according to the risk of exposure. Appropriate information about the what is the PEP is conveyed. It should be clear that PEP is not mandatory and more than 95 adherence for the treatment is very important in PEP. Counseling for the side effects of PEP are essential. Provision of antiretroviral drugs is made at emergency counter for at least 4 weeks course. Follow-up test and support treatment is essential in all. To prevent a secondary transmission, advice to the exposed person is given about avoid blood or tissue donations, avoid breastfeeding if she is a lactating mother, avoid unprotected sexual relations, avoid pregnancy, thus contraception advice is required in these women, and delay the conception till plasma viremia is suppressed. Documentation on record is essential about pre-existing HIV infection of exposed person or HIV serostatus of the source person. Main factors which determine the risk of infection are type of exposure, route of exposure, and HIV status of the source. Document the details of the injury or exposure. History of intact skin injury with needle stick or sharp instrument is documented. Then history of contact with non-intact skin like abraded skin or skin with the dermatitis. Then history of contact with the mucous membrane of eye or mouth. Then document the history of duration of contact, how prolonged it was, whether it was of several minutes with the blood or infectious body fluids is recorded. Identify the type of exposure. Like mild exposure, it is considered as if the exposure is with the intact skin. The exposure may be with the intact skin or mucous membrane, or it may be with non-intact skin or mucous membrane. When it is with the intact skin, either small volume or big volume, it is considered as a mild and moderate accordingly. Non-intact skin or mucous membrane exposure it is there, it is always severe exposure. Whether it is small volume or big volume, or whether it is a shallow wound or deep wound does not make any difference. Injury with previously used IV sets or arterial needles. These needles they remain contaminated for 48 hours. They are included under the severe exposure source. Identify the exposure route. Blood transfusion, the risk of exposure is risk of infection is 90 to 95%, and perinatal transmission risk is 20 to 40%. After sexual contact, the risk is 0.1 to 10%. It may be vaginal, oral, or anal. The risk differs in different routes. Injecting drugs like the risk of infection is 0.6%, and needle stick injuries, the risk is 0.3%. Other risk with needle injuries are pricks are hepatitis B. With hepatitis B virus, the risk is 9 to 30%, and with hepatitis C virus infection, the risk is 1 to 10%. Mucous membrane of oral cavity and nasal mucous membrane or splash on eye, the risk is 0.09%. HIV transmission risk after sexual contact, the risk is one person will get infected with every 10,000 people. Whether the person is an insertive person or receptive person, the risk is different. Analyze the HIV status of the source patient, whether the source patient is clinically asymptomatic or symptomatic. If asymptomatic source is there, then the low risk source. It is considered as low risk source, and symptomatic patient is considered as high risk source. When HIV status is not known, still it is considered as a high risk source. If source person is HIV test is negative, consider the exposure for other virus infections like hepatitis B virus infection and hepatitis C virus. Risk of infection after exposure to body fluids or sexual contact is described as high risk, moderate risk, and low risk. High risk source is considered when there is a contact with the blood, serum, or wound exudates, for example, in health workers. Moderate risk, the source may be semen, vaginal fluid, and saliva. Low risk source body fluids are urine, fecal matter, sweat, tears, and breast milk. Details of the source to whom the lady is exposed are documented. The source may be asymptomatic or may be symptomatic, because according to these details, the 2-drug regime or 3-drug regime PEP is given to the patient. With a mild exposure, 2-drug PEP is given, whether patient is source may be asymptomatic or symptomatic, or whenever the status is not known, the 2-drug PEP is required. But symptomatic cases with moderate exposure or severe exposure, they need 3-drug PEP. Evaluation of the exposure is done rapidly. First dose of PEP should be given as soon as possible, within 72 hours of exposure. It is preferred that the PEP should be started within 2 hours. Next dose is continued at least for 28 days from ICTC centers. Starter emergency packs of 1 week should be available across the counter, and vitamin A supplementation reduces the risk of vertical transmission in pregnancy. Special leave from work should be considered in all patients whenever it is required. Total types of regimes are basic regimes is 2-drug combination, and expanded regime is of 3-drug combination. Preferred 2-drug combinations are zidovudine, that is AZT, plus lamivudine, 3TC. Alternative may be zidovudine may be substituted by stavudine, that is D4T, and it is combined with lamivudine. Expanded regimes are 3-drug combination drugs. HIV serostatus of the source person should be documented. In these cases, record the current disease status, and WHO staging of the disease is done, and history is also documented in the source patient. Assess the CD4 count, assess the viral load measurement. When the source patient is not known to be on ART, and the source person may be resistant to one of the PEP drugs, in those cases, expert opinion is required. If third drug is needed, nelfinavir is a drug of choice. Zidovudine, AZT, or lamivudine is given. We have discussed stovidine may be replaced in place of zidovudine. It's the alternative to drug regime. Protease inhibitors are added as a third drug of choice. If third drug is needed, nelfinavir is a drug of choice. The other drugs are lopinavir, ritonavir, or indinavir. When exposed person is female and pregnant, the pregnancy test is recommended. Pregnant cases they begin with a two-drug regime, and contraindicated drugs in pregnancy are efavirenz. It is contraindicated in first trimester. Indinavir is contraindicated in preconception period. Side effects of these drugs are nausea, diarrhea, muscular pain, and headache. Investigations and post PEP HIV test is indicated in all. Complete blood count, liver function test, especially transaminases levels are estimated. They are estimated on first visit and after PEP completion after 1 month, means on 1 month visit. Monitoring of the patient is required for 6 months to identify whether patient develops major or minor signs of AIDS. Hepatitis B vaccination should be provided in pregnancy if the lady is not vaccinated. PEP should be followed by a post PEP HIV test. Screening test for HIV is ELISA test. All of us know. It is usually positive within 3 weeks or 3 months of exposure. Confirmatory test is a diagnostic test is a Western blot test. PCR detects the viral load and CD4 count. If it is declining, it indicates degree of immunosuppression the patient has got. P24 is a protein antigen in the core of virus, and detection of this P24 antigen in the serum is helpful at the time of seroconversion. Presence of P24 antigen in the cord blood and absence of maternal antigenemia indicates in utero transmission of HIV infection to the fetus or vertical transmission. Viral RNA load is very important. It reflects the recent infection or advanced cases of AIDS. It is indicated in early disease or in seroconversion phase in pregnancy. If low LD-CD4 count is there, then in these cases also viral RNA load is predicted. HIV tests which are done are usually HIV antibody test. Post PEP HIV test is conducted at the end of 3 months and at the end of 6 months. If at the end of 6 months the test is negative, that is the last test. Further testing is not required. HIV testing at the end of 4 to 6 weeks may not be enough as PEP prolongs the time of seroconversion. The health education, especially for the health workers, should be done simultaneously. What are the do's which the health workers should follow? Remove the gloves if it is appropriate to remove and wash the site thoroughly with the running water. Irrigate with water or saline if eyes or mouth have been exposed, and wash the skin with the soap and water. What are the don'ts which the health workers must know? Don't panic. Don't put the pricked finger in mouth. Don't squeeze the wound to bleed. Don't use the antiseptic or detergents on the wound like bleach, chlorine, alcohol, betadine, iodine or other. Do not delay PEP if HIV testing is not available. Baseline hepatitis B virus testing for exposed person is required. If exposed person is not vaccinated for hepatitis B, then immunoglobulins are given 0.06 ml per kg intramuscular route, and further hepatitis B vaccine series is given. If person is vaccinated for hepatitis B, test for anti-HBs antibodies. If adequate, no treatment is required. If inadequate, again immunoglobulins are given and followed by vaccine booster. What about hepatitis C virus exposure? The Hepatitis C virus infection is inefficiently transmitted 1.8%. HCV is 10 times lower than HBV infection, and hepatitis C virus survive for weeks in the syringes. Hence, hepatitis C virus 10 times more infectious than HIV virus. Hepatitis C virus disease is a leading cause of death in HIV positive individuals, as HIV co-infection adversely affects the course of hepatitis C virus infection. If HCV positive source is there, then test the exposed person for anti-HCV, and liver function tests are also done. If source is not infected, no baseline testing, no vaccination, and no post-exposure prophylaxis is required. Thanks for watching the video.